All right, what's up, YouTube? I just had to record this because I am sorely frustrated. Like I said earlier, I was working on I decided to make it a mainstay to make sure that I got my job searches in, and as y'all know, it's a very frustrating thing. My experience has been that the employers, again, I'm not holding any discrimination on the type of job, but the employers that I like, that I'm interested in, these people do not like me. They are not selecting me. But I'm left with these like unprofessional, just like beasts. And let me explain to you, I guess the latest, the latest little thing that just has got me all frustrated now. So, I'm going through, like I said that I would, and I'm going through and I'm applying for these different jobs. And these are more time intensive jobs where I'm sitting, I'm putting together my resumes and so forth and so on. And I'm not going to go backward. I'm going to talk about today. So, all of these jobs, like I said, with my many years of experience with everything, I'm qualified for, in one way or other. I have different, like, actual jobs I could put down and the different things that I did and I accomplished at these positions. And I'm starting to go through that. And then like I said, so much time has passed. There was a job up for technical writing. I started doing the resume for that one. And then I was just like, how it's just like when you have to just kind of weed and pull out all this history from the past. Basically, I have the basic skills. I've done the basic things. I've created procedures manuals, original databases, spec sheets for sales, websites, things like that. And it's just like, technical writing means something different now than it did before. And the ad that I responded to meant the old fashioned technical writing. The new technical writing, they're meaning like, and I can do some of this too, like the knowledge based database for the online websites and things like that. Now, I got frustrated because, I really had to try to integrate like my old with the new and pull it all together. So I decided to take a break and I was going to follow up on some of these old phone calls. Now, there was this one company that called me. And the first time he called, he sounded very enthused, sounded great. The second time he called like twice, like within 30 minutes, and left voicemail messages. Voicemail messages that he left were very sluggish, like, "Hi Maria, this is such and such with such a company. I guess I reached your Google Voice number." And I'm like, are you kidding me? You are trying to sell stuff and you're trying to hire people to sell and you sound like that? What is wrong with people? And then, I gave the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, like always, I give the benefit of the doubt. Business must be going slow. So, maybe he's having a hard time and maybe I can cheer him up, with my peppiness, So I'm calling back. Hi, such and such. I'm glad I got your call. Sorry I wasn't able to get in contact with you earlier. Blah, blah, blah. But when I call back, I'm getting voicemail and he's complaining about my Google Voice line. I have his Google Voice line. And then not only that, I'm trying to talk. And again, the thing is that, I don't have a real phone system. So, like, depending on where I am when I make the call, it can be very garbled. So, I guess he was having a hard time hearing, but I was hearing him fine. And I was like, well, let's go ahead and set something up. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't work that way. I have to talk to you first. I'm like, okay, not a problem, but he was on the immediate defensive. And I was just like, well, what's the latest that you're willing to receive calls? He's called me as late as 8 or 9 and left voice messages. And I was like, about 7 o'clock, would that be fine? I'll try to make it before then. And then he lightened up and was like, oh, okay, okay. You know? And so then, I decided, I've been through a whole that day. I didn't call him. And I called him first thing in the morning. And of course, the way that he sounds, he was probably asleep in bed when I called him at 8:30. So I'm like, okay, not a problem. I didn't hear anything back from him like yesterday. So then today, out of desperation, I'm like, well, let me follow up with him. So I called him back the first thing, Maria, I tried to call you 8 times. And, you know, um, I don't have your resume in front of me right now. Let me see if I can find your resume. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll just email it to you again right now. But I'm like, okay, just, let it go because he's probably got something else going on. So it takes forever. And so then finally, I'm just like, let me take initiative and tell him, look, I can resend that email to you. What's your email address? So that's what I do. And then it sounds like a totally different person now. He's like, well, I have your resume. And I said, well, I just called this number a minute ago. And someone else answered and said that they didn't have it and they were looking for it. And I'm just like, and so he's like, well, how many years have you had at least X amount of years experience? And I'm like, yes, I have. What have you? So this is what I've done. And before I can even get to tell him about the experience that I have, he's going into like, well, what company did you work for? And I told him, what did you? I told him that. And then, and then so he asked me, was I working now? And I said no, and I told him I do like different little freelance things. Oh, what does that mean? I said freelance. That means that as jobs come and as I'm available, I take them and I complete them. And depending on my performance, that's how my pay is given. And so, and then at that point, he's just, well, I called you 8 times, and I'm like, at this point, I'm a little annoyed. I'm like, with all due respect, that's the reason that I'm contacting you is because I'm calling you to interview for your position by telephone. I would like to tell you some of my skills, and he's just so like negative, and I'm just like, how are you even calling, somebody and you're negative like that? And so then it gets to the point where he's just like, well, let me conduct the interview. I'm like, okay, not a problem. And it's just, I mean, it's just like he's just really, it's almost like he's not prepared. He's not prepared. He's not ready. And then it's like he doesn't really want to interview for the positions. And it's like maybe he just has a bad outlook on the industry altogether. But you can't get anything with all that negativity. You're not gonna get anything. So I'm just like, so, anyways, not interested. Then a couple of days ago, I interviewed for this one position. Like I said, everybody was really nice and really great. I was the only black person there. I would have really appreciated that position because it was closed. Everybody seemed wonderful. Um, and then I even went so far as to write a nice little thank you letter. And like I said, I should have caught the initial warning side because there were two ads placed. One was an ad for part-time evening. The other ad was full-time day. The part-time evening required an email. I sent the email. Never heard anything back. The full-time day was like come in person and visit. I came in person and visited, and then he kind of pushed me off to the part-time evening. But I think positive, so I'm just like, okay, that would be better for me anyhow. That's what I really wanted. But then I wrote a thank you letter because I was impressed by the way that I was treated, and just a simple thank you for the interview. And didn't even get a response to the letter or anything. But I decided to call and follow up today, and they were just like, "Oh, what's your name?" I told them, and I said, "Hi, this is such and such. I interviewed with such and such on. I asked to speak to this person. Is it this or this person?" And I was like, I'm not sure, but my name is such and such. I applied for such and such position. I interviewed with him on this date, and I just wanted to follow up to see if I was still being considered for the position. He goes back, and somebody else answers the phone, and then he says, oh, they went with somebody else, so they weren't interested at all. you know so, and this is a place that I would have liked to work. So the places that I would like, definitely do not like me. And then the things that I'm left with are like the unprofessional ghetto places, and I'm just like, you know, I put everything down professionally. I'm not being ghetto about it. And now that makes me scared that, with the job that I'm going to on Monday, it makes me scared that, this lady, because again, I give people the benefit of the doubt. But, when she told me we met at a neutral location, she gave me the address and everything. But we met at a neutral location. I needed to identify who she was. She gave me one description. When I showed up there, she looked completely different, and she was hiding out in the corner. How are you interviewing people at a public place where they have to find you and you're hiding out in the corner somewhere? You know? I mean, that's not cool. And, I'm just so, I'm staying positive, but I'm frustrated, y'all, for real. I mean, that's frustrating. And then, like I said, you try to look on the bright side and give people the benefit of the doubt. So, luckily I was able to contact her because there was Wi-Fi access, and so I was able to contact her that way. And she was wearing something completely different. She had on this bright orange scarf. That would have been a good way to know that it was her. And she was young. Like I said, she might have been a couple years younger than me. And she misrepresented herself. First she said that she had her own nonprofit and worked from home, but when I told her my nonprofit experience and that I had my own, then it's changed all of a sudden. Well, I don't actually own my own. It's a friend of mine. So I'm just like, and the way that I am, I humble myself to people because I know we were close to the same age, and I didn't want her to think in any way that I would be like, acting bigger than her. So I made sure to humble myself and base myself to the very lowest. And the thing that I got was that, that's going to be used against me like, oh, she's nobody. But I'm humbling myself because I want you to be able to work with and manage me. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's just not looking good. And I'm like I said, I'm trying. I'm not sure like what else to do. And then the other lady about the insurance thing, she waited till the last minute, like 4:30 on Friday, to email me the directions. I'm thinking it's in Hollandale or Aventura. It's way out in Pine Island somewhere. Why would you do that? You know? So I'm just, I needed to vent. And like I said, I know that I'm not the only one that's kind of going through this. But it hurts a little. And let me think about why it hurts. When I feel like when I'm dealing with people professionally, I'm taking time to put everything together that I can. And this one situation, they were not unprofessional. They did what they were supposed to do. But I should have caught on the first moment when, okay, I came in person. The in person part was the full time. The email part was the part time. And he tried to push it off on the part time. But I'm thinking, well, maybe it's my appearance because that's mainly a Caucasian place. Then maybe he would prefer like a white person. So I'm like, okay, that's not a problem. I can deal with that. I can understand that you need to do what you got to do to make money. So I'm frustrated. I'm going to keep looking, but I'll be lying to you if I told you that it didn't hurt, because it does. It hurts. I mean, I feel the pain. And then like, the office that I worked for like 20 years. Um, what hurts about that is that, because of the false accusation and conviction, and it's been, even though it's been acquitted, that could still haunt me, because if they didn't take care of it, just all the headache I have to go through, and I am going through trying to get that cleared up with that office so that I can go back. And, I'm it's life, you know what I'm saying? But, I have to tell you that, it does hurt. And that's a very human quality. And, I think people should see it, because I was telling somebody the other day, people hide too much their hurts and pains. So that does hurt. Where do I go from here? I guess I go back to the ass and just keep on applying, until I can't apply no more. And from there, you do all that you can in just hand. So, then I go get some exercise to work off some steam and kind of take it from there. I'm doing alternate types of alternative forms of trying to, acquire income and things like that. At least just trying to put myself out there and see where it goes. But, I don't know, because maybe the people that, like I said, I need to get around the right people. Maybe the people that I'm publishing these things to, maybe they don't have the clout, the status, or the wherewithal at all to even see it for what it is. And then in addition to that, maybe the world has just changed. Maybe, you know, being an African American female, with all these things, with that negative mark, I'm going to be caught, what I'm saying, at the level of people that are, I'm just maybe put into that bucket and I'll never get out. And then, like I said, my clothes don't really fit that well. So, maybe that's what turned them off. My clothes were all right, I think, for that interview. But, the jeans were a little bit big around the middle. Even though my middle is big, it's big around the middle. So when I got up, maybe he saw, like, some skin, you know? So, I don't know. All I can do is keep trying. If y'all got experiences, let me know. I'd be interested in hearing what y'all have going on. And like right now, like I said, I'm just trying to find a job. So, anyways, don't know what the future holds, but I'm gonna just keep trying. Take care.